Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Friday, October 22nd, 2021, 3 p.m. Eastern. We will have a reverse aging health call tonight at 9 p.m. We have Patty McPeak, some of you are familiar with her, and Dr. Russ Newman. It will be quite enlightening. We have a lot transforming, more than this planet has seen or experienced with the energies ever in its history, with all the civilizations that have been inhabited here throughout its existence. And I know that a lot of people, those that are consciously aware to a certain extent, you cannot not, you feel it. And that's why, going into being quiet and finding a place that's, where you're not interrupted and listening and going into the softness of the vortex. When we really relax, we will be able to notice that there is softest, sweetest presence within each of us. And this amazing presence is what heals us and everyone around us. And this energy can bring people who are living in hell, so to speak, to instantly be transported to heaven in a matter of milliseconds. And when we decide for ourselves, let go of being right about things, this righteous energy makes us so hard. We find what softens us and discover how good it feels to be connected with this vast, pure, deep, eternal love. We are unbelievably wonderful beings. Enjoy our infinite existence within our softness and sweetness of our hearts within. If you can look at life, this life, as a kind of like an enlightenment incubator, realization of the self is realization of God. It is not an experience of God. Rather, it is an understanding that one is God. Sri Raman Maharishi. Everything and everyone is here for our enlightenment. We are all in a grand incubation chamber called humanity that is designed specifically to bring the state of self-realization into our hearts and minds. Every person, every one of us is a teacher in this mass school, guiding us to finding our spiritual paths and discovering what it truly means to be enlightened. Every single person, situation, event, and circumstance in our lives today are offering the perfect ingredients necessary for us to get rooted, grow, and blossom into our greatest potentiality. We are like baby eggs, each destined to hatch, break free from our ego shell, and enjoy this extremely alive, conscious, and deeply juicy existence. As always, there is nothing, absolutely nothing, missing for enlightenment to find its way to each of us. All our problems, missed opportunities, and challenging life circumstances are the perfect sacred situations deliberately designed to inspire us to build our deepest connection to Source and harness a radical creativity. Without these sacred situations, we would be missing something that is like fertilizer. These essential stinky nutrients that make one deepen evolve and grow. Life is perfect just the way it is, and we are perfect just the way we are, with all our desires and attainments, joys and sorrows, securities and insecurities. This life is an enlightenment incubator that cannot be escaped from. We are imprisoned in the destiny to reach enlightenment in this lifetime, the next lifetime, or the next. Our enlightenment is on the divine agenda, the schedule of our souls, and there is nothing we can do to change this. We can try to ignore it, pretend it's not happening, or become distracted by a goal, project that seems to be more important than enlightenment. Yet, still, over the course of this lifetime, the karmic agenda remains the same. Our soul's destinies will always be to discover what enlightenment is, what it feels like, and what we need to let go of to attain it. The most ordinary, typical days of life often contain the most potent aspects of the enlightenment incubation process. Every personal or business conversation, text message, email, Facebook post, YouTube video that we experience are the exact fuel we specifically needed in that moment for us to realize our paths to greater freedom. Every moment we are alone, listening to our inner voices, being quiet, or simply doing nothing is also the exact fuel needed. Every challenge, argument, confusion, fear, desire, indecision is also essential fuel for that moment. In any direction we turn, we find the perfect enlightening fuel is already there, ready to be used. We are surrounded by perfection. It is only the mind that perceives something else. There is no use removing doubts one by one. If we clear one doubt, another doubt will arise, and there will be no end of doubts. But if by seeking the doubter is found to be really non-existent, then all doubts will cease. Ramrishi. This planet that we call Earth, Gaia, or Arya, numerous other names, this planet is the most sacred spiritual birthing ground, which is specifically set up for us to realize our divine nature within its womb. Each day, the sun shines its light on all of us. It's giving us warmth so we can relax, smile, and experience so many pleasures in this amazing body. We get to enjoy our body each day, how its five senses are always interacting with the outer world. Our physical body is the perfect cocoon for us to go inside, find our soul, and sprout our spiritual wings. This universe is constantly giving life to us from the inside. Our hearts beating, blood pumping, cells rejuvenating, and breath flowing are life coursing through us. Life is loving us from the inside and the outside. And these two worlds are merged together in a matrix of highly intelligent energy. At the deepest level, this life is the most deeply eternal loving teacher there is. It requires no payment from you and works every day for you absolutely free of charge. It is constantly offering you free life lessons, which helps your soul evolve in ways you never knew were possible. This sweet love from life is so extremely generous. It's always gifting you free sunshine, free air, free ocean water. And if you're courageous and willing, all the free food you can find on the trees, plants, and catch in the oceans. We truly live in the divine ocean of loving, intelligent energy. that supports every need we have. Even when we get upset, thrown off center, get angry, start to reject this life, and push love away, life still continues to feed us, nurture us, breathe our body for us. Life still loves us no matter how we respond to it. The sun never stops shining on any of us, no matter how irreverent we are with it. We really don't have to do anything but show up and fully be in this moment of our lives right here, right now. And this act of showing up is all about surrender and takes absolutely zero effort. Not everything that is faced can be changed. Nothing can be changed until it is faced. One of the most enlightening meditations is this. For 24 hours a day, open yourself to the idea that everyone is enlightened except you. Imagine and pretend that there is this huge pronoic conspiracy. The universe has to wake you up. Everybody is a vehicle for the divine, and every human is your greatest teacher in teaching. Listen to others as if God, him or herself, was speaking through them. The deeper you listen, the more you will hear the divine direction you're needing to go today. The inner voice is already tuned in, and it will start showing you exactly how to find your way home. Imagine that we are all eagerly waiting for you to become enlightened. We have arrived and now are patient, yet very excited about you becoming the great enlightening student that you were born to be. Our mission is to serve you, help you step on board the enlightenment train, because you, my friend, are the very last to arrive. It's not that you are less than anyone, nor missing anything on the inside. This enlightenment exam is just an assignment for the ego, and it will ignite some powerful insights within you, lighting up your spiritual path. The challenge to pretend that everyone is enlightened except you all day long is huge, I know. Yet take it on as an experiment for just 3 days. Explore how you and your experience of life changes. As you do this experiment, you'll notice how the quality of your listening changes with each day. One day, it may be somewhat superficial. And by day 3, you may become lost in the seeing, feeling, and touching the divine everywhere you go. Continue playing with it past day 3, if it's working for you, of course. Noticing what you feel you need to let go of and how your perception of others and yourself changes. Become more and more aware of the immediate shift in consciousness that is created the moment you choose to step into the enlightenment incubator. Pretending that everyone is enlightened except you is a gigantic task for the ego to take on. So one small word of advice for you is this. Be gentle with your teachers. Respect their teaching deeply by paying extra super close attention to what they are really saying underneath it all. Listen to what is your next step to finding freedom. Apply what is really going on in your life and see what it is that you most need to learn. Ask yourself, why do these types of people trigger me and why? Why do these types of people trigger me? And why do they? Notice that they are pointing at inside you. So notice what they are pointing at inside of you. that you don't love about you. Listen to what's being said between their words, between your thoughts. Feel deeper into that, what's actually happening in each new moment, if you want to truly be free. Some may find that the initial experience of enlightenment is very similar to making popcorn. The hard, small little corn kernels, ego, require loads of heat, pressure to be covered in oil, juicy emotions, and need a bit of stirring uncertainty before they surrender, pop open, and expand completely into their light, fluffy fullness. The experience of enlightenment is basically a simple, sweet science. When the corn is popped, the hard shell of the ego is no longer holding everything together on the outside. Yet rather, the soft, fluffy part moves forwards towards the outer and hard, protective part towards the inner. When the real you comes out, there is nothing to fear or protect anymore. All the outer shells drop, and you become a very soft, open, available being who is full of love and here to be enjoyed by all. Everything that irritates us about others can lead to a better understanding of ourselves. Carl Jung. Just watch your ego closely. Watch how it behaves, very much like one of these little kernels of popcorn. It feels small, contracted, protective, hard, and limited in its expression. It's condensed with loads of energy inside that are ready to be fully expressed given the right heated conditions. When our juicy emotions, oil, are added on top, nothing happens unless there is some real heat underneath. As we start feeling into the heated situations we are currently facing in our lives around money, sex, relationships, love, work, health, etc., the heat turns on. By feeling our feelings fully, deeply, and thoroughly, our energy builds, making the heat even hotter. Eventually, we burst open, liberating ourselves from that tightly contracted, hardened ego self. Life is extremely intelligent. It knows exactly how and where to add a little extra heat to your life. The popcorn pops on its own accord when the heat reaches the critical point of no return. When the tight protective case around the ego breaks, the lightness of our being expands through. When our shell cracks, we begin to taste enlightenment and live beyond our egos. The heat of life will come whether you want it or not. We cannot avoid it. It shows up in many mysterious ways and a large variety of forms. It may show up as a pressure we create within ourselves from expectations, assumptions, commitments, agreements, promises in our relationships, marriage, with money, sex, work, and health. It may also show up from a lack of pressure we place on ourselves. Meaning, if we are too lazy, living in denial and ignoring our desires, wants, and needs, we will feel depressed. And this external heat feeling will come from life for us to do something different and make an external change. It's not that enlightenment is only just some light, fluffy experience. This ego-popping phenomena is the initial introduction to it. Real, everyday enlightenment is living life in a very grounded, real, and always present way. That is continually integrating our dark, deep, wounded parts. It's as if the corn kernel gets popped once, then realizes there's another layer of tightness and contraction inside, and then gets repopped again and again, repeating thousands of times every day. You are neither consciousness nor its content. You are the timeless source, the supreme reality. Trust in that, Nisargadatta. The popcorn, the ego, is a contracted state because it's busy holding too tightly onto our belief spheres, control, and the need to be right. When we relax, letting the heat of life come in to expand our minds and heat and hearts in a loving, natural way, the experience of getting popped open by life is quite powerful and exhilarating. Instead of running from life, we face it, embrace and move into and through it. There's no more resistance to the hottest heat, which is all the things we tend to fear and avoid. We choose instead to welcome these challenges as opportunities to manifest a bigger, juicier life. We get out of the way and let life and its amazingness come truly in. So if you will, go to the place where you're not going to be interrupted. And I am sure that we all are. And the first thing that we care to do is relax these bodies. Head to toe, inside and out. If we don't relax the bodies, then we are stuck. Some of us get so carried away we never even think about relaxing the body because we're always going, doing, and this and that, and this and that, instead of being still and quiet. So how do you relax the body? Well, you start off by knowing that you are not the body. You are not the name, you're not the character, you're not the personality. You're the God within that body. You literally are the God within that body. And you know, we all know this. I think we inherently know it. I just think a lot of people just don't entertain it or they don't explore it. Fear, whatever drives them to not. This body absorbs everything we create for it. This body that we're in, it absorbs everything that we create for it. Now, the interesting part of that is, most of the time we don't know we're creating anything for the body. And these are the things that we generate. Stress, fear, which through our thoughts that we bring in, we move energy into form and create a reality. And then we experience it. So a lot of the times we're not aware that we are the ones doing it. Not the body, but the God within the body. So the connection, the understanding is that we are the God. But so many people don't know that they are the God. They believe they're the body. So when we run into stressful situations, fearful situations, the body gets heavy. You ever notice that? You ever notice that when you're experiencing certain things, fear, wonder, worry, whatever it may be, something that you created that you don't know you created for yourself so you can experience it, and then you notice that the body gets heavy. You know, you could get tired, you feel lethargic, you just feel blah. And you don't, it's interesting because you don't know why you do, in a lot of cases. And instead of going into being quiet and breathing and focus on your breath and just being in the now, moving into that vortex, then you would discover that you face your fears, you face your anxieties, your worries, your stresses. You just face them. Gentle and kind, generous, humble. 24/7 deep gratitude. And you say, I don't need this. You'll find that you won't need any of them. Because you've already experienced them over and over again. And it's real familiar because you know the feeling through the heart that you get when there's something not really right. Okay? Something not right about you might be. Or something energetically that you'll say to yourself, something isn't right. And then a lot of people get fearful of that, so they leave it alone. Some will turn and say, okay, what isn't right? Why am I feeling this way? Let's look at it. Let's find out what it is. And as we do this, it's like peeling layer after layer away, and each layer becomes brighter and newer, more pristine, more energy. And as we do this, we lighten ourselves. And we do. We feel lighter. Even sometimes we fake it because we're either depressed or worried or stressed or feared about something. And none of us are exempt from that. And the body relaxes. See, we know it. See, we're aware of this. And so when we tune into it, we discover that really, is an illusion. It's an illusion that we created. Then we experience it. So once we master this, that we know we go into silence, we focus on our breath, and we just sit. We don't do anything. When you do this, you move out away from the mind. You leave the mind alone. You leave the ego alone. You leave the subconscious mind alone. And then the body just relaxes, de-stresses. And you know the feeling because you're not thinking about anything. You're not worried about anything. You're not fearing anything. In fact, there's nothing there. And I know that we've all experienced it more than once, but there's nothing there. And once you do this, you like it. But here's what happens. The ego comes in and says, oh, no, you can't do this. You're not doing anything. You've got to do something. You can't just sit here on your keister. What the heck's wrong with you? You're just sitting here doing nothing, just being silent. Oh, isn't that great? This doesn't work. I got to do a lot of things. I got to get this done. I can't afford. I don't have the time. I can't do this. See? That's ego mind. And when it does do that, you just say, ego, you're not in control here. Neither are you, mind. And they'll take the back seat. Now, when we relax the body, and you can visualize any form you choose, you're on a placid lake, and it's morning, and the mist is rising, and it's not hot, it's not cold, and you're just laying back in the boat, floating. Of course, there's no wave. You're just lying there, looking at the sky and the tree lines, and that's about it. Or in the hammock between trees. You're not quite in. Well, you're not fully in the body, and you're not fully out of the body. You're just there. You're in that void. That's how you still the mind, and you still the ego, and you learn how to master them from that step, where you don't judge them, you watch them. Now, once the body's relaxed, and you focus on your breath, you're in the now. And the now is all we have. But our ego mind has a tendency to kind of move us constantly into a future or constantly into the past. You ever notice that? Actually being in the now. Isn't that easy? Because the ego is constantly pushing us to go into the future, go into the past. When am I going to have this? When am I going to have that? Why isn't this happening for me? When am I going to feel better? When am I going to be healthier? When is all this stuff going to end? When can I finally get things going in my life? I deserve a better life. Why don't I have one? You see, all these things. The ego mind. And then some of us, we'll go in the past. The ego mind pushes us in the past, and we'll sit there in the past, and we'll say, this was wonderful. Memories, right? Reminiscing. We all do. It's fun. And it's like we go into this library in our subconscious mind, we pick up these volumes and these books, and we read them. And we review different experiences and different things that we've done in the past. The past means everything is gone, it's done, dead, over, period. That the now is all we have anyway, and that we constantly focus on experiencing in the now, and then those experiences become memories. And then we store them in our personal libraries. But some of us will go there and we'll sit there. We'll stay there. And I don't really think that most of the time it is that we're consciously aware of it. But we do it. And we do it so much that we end up taking that past, we bring it into a future that doesn't exist. We create that past. We create that future from that past, and we relive that past and that future. So a lot of people will say, no matter what we do, we always end up here. Now, we know that, since we're not the body, and we're the God within the body, that we can look at the body in many ways, and feel the body, and we notice that from the spine to the top of the head, there are lights, colored lights. And they call these chakras, which means wheel. Wheels of light. And we know that these are etheric. They're spiritual. They're not blocks of wood or steel or whatever, would appear to be solid. So, what are they? What are they for? Well, we're etheric spiritual beings in these bodies. We flow through that. We flow through these energy vortexes, these chakras, all different colors. And this we spread out through the body. We are flowing with the blood. We're flowing with the heartbeat. We're flowing with the brain activity. We're flowing with everything. We know everything about these bodies right down to the quantum quark. And isn't it interesting that most of us have never exercised the understanding that we do? We will, eventually, where we will end up healing these bodies in a blink of the eye. Now we know that the soul, which is the heaven, which enters the body, powers the body. Breath, divine positive energy, is created to sustain the body that holds the kingdom of God within it. Now, those of us who are consciously aware, parts of the one, means that we are consciously aware that we are of and from the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest of the purest purest, eternal love, gratitude, and peace. The parts of us, the gods that we are that are asleep, don't know this yet. It is imperative that we practice staying in the now. How do we do that? Because we cannot. None of us are able at this stage to focus completely all the time on the now. We are constantly being bombarded with programmed thoughts that aren't ours, that fly by like clouds in the sky. We pick them, we grab them, and we float off. And none of us are exempt from it. we float off. Even the most intense beings that are focused on something very intently will end up floating off. So this is when to be gentle, kind, generous, and humble, and in deep gratitude all the time with ourselves, so that when that happens, it's not an issue. We just say, okay, so I've wandered off, so I'll focus on my breath, and I'll be in the now 3,000% of the time. We get in trouble when we leave the now. That's when we start suffering and fearing and stressing, and worrying and wondering and that type of thing. So we know that by focusing on the breath, we will stay in the now. And no matter what's happening outside of us, we will stay in the now. No matter how much that ego pushes you sometimes to be talking to others and say, oh, hey, I'm going to be doing this in 5 years. Or 10 years from now, I want to be retired. We only have the now. Doesn't it make sense to live this life in the now? Why live it in the future or the past? Past is dead and gone. Future isn't even here yet. So with the heaven in the body, we are heaven on earth. And because we're consciously aware, every step we take, we are creating paradise. And we've learned to shine the light of the gods that we are outward, way beyond these bodies that we are in, that expand out 360 degrees, flood, saturate, all life, the highest supreme value in the universe in this planet, on it, in it, above it, and below it. Each of us affect millions on this planet. Each one of us affects millions. How can this be proven? How do we know this is a fact? Well, there are those in history that have proven it. Unfortunately, most of them not nice. But look at the following of Christ. Look at how many lives that the Christ energy affected. Look at, on the dark side, Hitler. How many lives that one being affected. Mussolini, Stalin, Napoleon, George Washington, Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, Buddha, Maitreya, Saint Germain. All of these, one. That's a fact that stares us all in the face. It is undeniable. If you were to go in outer space and look at this planet, far enough out, okay, and you would see it glow. But then you would also notice that the surrounding areas and the lights around it in this universe would be dim in comparison to it. So a God planet paradise. This is what the vibrational frequencies in the shift is about. This is what's about, going from the frequencies of the Piscean age into the Aquarian age. We create all that. And we're flooding our light over this whole planet, and that's high frequency. Very high. The highest of the highest high. So we seek out, right, parts of ourselves, the gods that we are, that are awake, that are consciously aware to a certain extent. We don't seek out the other parts of us that are asleep. They will awaken when they choose to awaken. Whatever catalyst that is generated to cause them to awaken. So the ones of us, the parts of us that are awakened, that's all the light energy beings and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. This is the archangels, the cherubim, the seraphim, the archetypes, the ascended masters, Kuan Yin, Maitreya, Buddha, Lakshmi, Ganesh, Gaia, Saint Germain, Christ, El Moria, Abundantia, Pel, Thoth, Yahweh, Yeshua, all the inhabitants of inner earth, hollow earth, Agartha, and beneath her. All of our loved ones that have ascended out of body in this lifetime and all lifetimes that we've inhabited. All the off-worlders, the galactics, the celestials. And these are in the numbers of gigaplexes. One gigaplex fills this universe with not even a sacred inch of space to spare. They come from trillions of universes and trillions of directions, trillions of gigaplexes. Now, the off-worlders, the galactics, the celestials, we only know just a smidgen of them, and not even that much. Over 1,000 species travel through the solar system every day. Trillions throughout the universes every day. The ones that we are kind of aware of, the Pleiadians, the Sirians, the Arcturians, the Andromedans, the Feline, the Zeta Reticuli, the Anunnaki, the Nords, the Greys, the Draco, the Reptilian, the Golden Pyramid, the Avian. Now, this particular group has been assisting us in our evolution, our enlightenment, our ascension, freeing ourselves from our own self-imposed bondage and our own self-imposed slavery. And the archangels, their civilization that vibrate at a different frequency than we do. This is why we don't see them like we see each other. But we do meet with them. We do interact with them. But not all the time do we say, oh, that was an angel. We just have a feeling. And then we move on. Sometimes it's that the energy is so strong and so compelling that it dawns on us that that was not just a regular meeting or just a happenstance. That was an angel that I met and talked with. And you feel kind of light, and you feel good, and you feel that bliss. Now, they have the same message, but they deliver it to us in many different ways. Thousands and millions of ways. But it is this. Isn't it absolutely magna-glorious to be alive in these bodies? To taste, to smell, to feel, to laugh, to cry, to breathe. And that once we acknowledge that and we embrace that, it's bliss. Because it is. Now, they can surround any one of us in the tens of thousands or tens of millions. Because of their vibrational frequency, they can hold a large number in a small area. And if you want them to, ask them. They will. And there's more bliss. Now, the Ascended Masters, they have mastered the physical, ascending into the physical, and mastered ascension out of the physical, hold pure God form, pure consciousness. We have ascended into physical form, are mastering physical form, are creating our experiences to perfect our creations. All the light energy beings, with our eyes, with these bodies, we only see 1% of what is. So all these shapes, colors, sizes, forms, configurations, we don't see. But we are familiar with some. And maybe just once in a while we've seen some of these. The fairies, the sprites, the elves, the gnomes, the dwarves, the trees, the trolls, the elementals, earth, air, water, fire, ether, wood, the mermaid, the dolphin, the whale, the pegasus, the unicorn, the centaur, the minotaur, many, many, many more. And we're all gathered arm in arm, hand in hand, so to speak, in full compassion, non-judgment, non-ego, non-negativity, stillness of mind, gentleness, kindness, generosity, humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence, prosperity, abundance. And we're all one. And we're all God. And we're all love. And our God force love light energy is in all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. And we are all bathing in it 24/7. We immediately form a circle of light around the equator of this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, and this now. This circle of light, this light emanates from the God force love light energy within each and every single one of us. The source, the God source, the kingdom of God. It is the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest of the purest purest, eternal love, gratitude, peace. And we're flooding this planet, whole life, the highest supreme value in the universe is on it, in it, above it, and below it, 24/7. If you ever decide to tap into that, go through the heart, you'll be there because it is you. We begin to ascend above the planet, and as we do, we come in full contact with this massive ocean of glitter. Now, it's reflecting everywhere. It's like this big ballroom mirrored ball reflecting all this light, except it's 1,000,000,000 times more intense and 1,000,000,000,000 times larger. And all these magical colored lights we've never seen before flashing everywhere. And so we look at the reflective points and we get up real close and we see that they're microscopic, perfectly etched mirrors. We enter them. And we discover that all of us gathered, and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever, consciously aware, are teaching each other, learning from each other, every split second. Whether you see a fly on the wall, yes, we learn from everything. We're either teaching or learning or teaching, or both. Sometimes from our own selves. Just ponder that. Trillions and trillions of gods gathered in the meditation for the complete liberation of this planet and all life on it, in it, above it, and below it, into the higher and higher and higher frequencies. It doesn't matter if it's a leaf on the ground or in the tree, or a dog or a cat, or a squirrel or a mouse, or a bird, or a bug, or a human. It's absolutely spectacular. Instead of judging the surface, ask yourself what this is teaching you, what you're learning from it, what you may be teaching it, what it's learning from you. We're immediately met with the emerald green flaming healing light of Archangel Raphael. This is a column of light that we created that reminds us all that we are the power of healing. We are then met with the violet, blue, purple flaming light of Archangel Michael. This is a column of light we created that reminds us all of our omnipotent power, strength, and resolve. We are then met with the white fire. This is the column of light that we created to remind us all that we are imbued, head to toe, inside and out, with this white fire armor. Now, it's not like the armor on this planet. It's way beyond that. And it emanates from the God within us, the God source, as each of us are. And it cannot be tainted, disintegrated, manipulated, weakened, penetrated at all. It is impervious to any form of attack, manipulation, or anything. So no demon attachment, no possession, no lower dark matter, survival matter, frequency invasions, nothing. 24/7. But only you have the power that if you decide to lower your vibrational frequency low enough, whether consciously or unconsciously, your hatred, anger, fear, greed, envy, revenge, hurriedness, worry, you will create a breach in your white fire armor, enough so to allow lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies to come flooding in. Then the possibilities are endless. Possession, demon, lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies, flowing everywhere. Now, if you do decide to do this, you're immediately met with a double column of light we created. First part is the purple transmuting flame. We created this to remind us all that we can bring in the purple transmuting flame. We can transmute all of these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies into neutralized substance, sending them to pure consciousness where they are gone permanently. The other half of this column of light is the violet ray. This is a column of light we created to remind us all that we can bring in the violet ray right behind the purple transmuting flame, cleanse and purify the area where these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies were, sealing the breach in our white fire armor and restoring our vibrational harmony of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest, the purest of the purest, eternal love, gratitude, and peace. We are then met with the golden white pink light. This is a column of light that we created that reminds us all that the gods within these bodies are the sun, the sunlight, the rain and the rainbow, the clouds and the skies, the oceans, the rivers, the lakes, the streams, the sunsets, the sunrises, the animals, the soils, the trees, the forests, the mountains. We're everything. Everything is us. So the next time that you view a sunset or a sunrise, or a rainbow, or starlit night sky, it is the God that you are within that body. You're the divineness. You're the perfection. You're the beauty. You're the majesty. It is you. It is each and every one of us. Always has been, always will be, ever, beyond, and forever. we continue to ascend above the planet, some of us step outside our physical form and hover effortlessly above it, if we're carrying physical form. And the reason we do this is because we can. We come into full contact with this massive crystalline light tower. We all created this tower. It's larger than the solar system and beyond. In the center of the column is this oblong sphere. The center of the sphere is a golden white bowl of light. It is surrounded by rings of multicolored light, endless. We notice that they're all sending at once these massive, misty, electric, sparkling clouds that absorb into all of us like a warm embrace that never ends. And the golden white bowl of light is the highest of the highest high, and the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest of the purest purest. Eternal love. And next comes gratitude, peace, gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness, bliss, joy, tranquility, benevolence, great abundance, great prosperity, well-being. And this, we discover, is a reflection of the gods that we all are. It is us. It isn't outside of us, it is us. Now, at the top of this crystalline light tower, we designed this so the golden ocean can come cascading down 360 degrees, as it's doing right now, as it's flooding all of us and all life, the highest supreme value in the universe, on and above below this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, and this now. And what is the golden ocean? Love. The highest of the highest high, the deepest, and the purest, purest, love. It's what we all are, the gods that we are. You ever decide to tap into this? Go into heart-mind. Focus on your breath. Be in silence. Don't move. Listen. You'll be there. Now, we are drops of this golden ocean. We also hold the essence of this golden ocean. Golden ocean is the drops of the golden ocean. And the only illusion is separation. We see our meditative sphere at set center circle. We all created this sphere, moving towards 4 years ago. Holds over 1,600 of our meditations in perpetual motions. Hundreds of millions of us, light years away, convening as the gods that we are, consciously aware, increasing the vibrational frequencies and pathways into higher dimensional existence, and understanding that we are the gods, and we are doing this. And these meditations, they don't weaken, they don't disappear, they don't go away. It's the opposite. They continue to intensify and they continue to expand. And they're flooding us all. Nonstop. That's just magna glorious, spectacular, stupendous. And any time that any of us choose to go within and be with it all, because it is us. The conscious energy source flows into each new moment so quickly that we cannot catch it or escape from it. We are it. And it is showing us that we are an amazing being who is connected to everything in the most extraordinary ways. I'll join you in the meditation. Return to close us out. Take an easy breath in through the nose. And an easy breath out through the mouth. Move easily and slowly. Begin your journey today by breathing consciously. With each inhale and exhale, feel the life of giving, living inside you. Breathe and feel the air moving in and out continuously. Notice that it does not stop. Breathe consciously for a few minutes or until you feel something open and expand inside of you. Notice what is your experience of life. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, and into the following morning. We will return here tonight at 9 p.m. for our Reverse Aging Health Call. And tomorrow, Saturday, October 23rd, 2021, 3 p.m. Eastern, to continue our Global Guided Meditation Call.